Dude, I'm just not getting this whole budgeting thing you're always talking about. It's confusing, stressful, and it's so time consuming.
Well, why don't we go over a few reasons why you might be struggling and how to fix them?
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting. You'll spend it and be broke again.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm your bro Taylor,
And I'm your bro Ryan.
and today we're going to be talking about some of the top reasons why people are struggling or failing to follow their budget and how you can address those issues. So, jumping right in, starting with reason number one, is you might simply be budgeting for too long of a period. You're like, well, I'm budgeting on a monthly basis. Sometimes that can be a struggle because let's say you go crazy in week one, the rest of your budget can sometimes be messed up. So, in this instance, it might be better, especially when you're first starting, to budget on a weekly basis. I know that may sound like more work, but smaller numbers are oftentimes more manageable and gives you a better idea of where you actually are.
Yeah, just like Taylor said, if you spend all this lump sum in the beginning of the month, but you don't track it or at least peek at it weekly, you could not know you've blown the budget, but be well past. Then you get to the end of the month to do your budget and you're like, oh no, I just kept spending because I thought I had $50 a week. But in the beginning, I spent way too much and didn't realize and didn't account for that. So maybe checking in weekly and resetting those categories and go, okay, first week I did blow past. Now I have no money to spend in this category the rest of the month. So that'll definitely help a lot of you stick to it. And going straight into reason number two, which kind of goes hand in hand with this, is just tracking too many things, too many categories. Instead of saying car and then doing 50 categories below car, just do car. And if you're using apps or algorithms, it can be a lot easier for a lot of things to just find car than it is to find all these little subcategories and get them accurate. So that's another good tip that I personally could probably take a little hint of because I get too nitty gritty to be honest. And I'm like, I'll split hairs with pet fund and stuff like that it gets too much. Pet food versus pet toys. And I'm like, okay, come on. It's just pet.
Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of take a note from the 50-30-20 rule where it's really just needs, wants, savings, and debt.
Yeah.
Break it down into however many categories you think are manageable for you. When you look at it, you don't want to feel overwhelmed. So maybe you have, like Ryan said, a car category, a just general living category that includes your rent, utilities, things like that. So whatever kind of works for you, because yeah, you get into the nitty gritty and suddenly you're like, I know this budget's going to take a couple hours because I got to separate all this and that. And speaking of categories, one thing a lot of people don't account for are just those variable expenses. Inevitably, something's going to pop up that's just going to be out of the ordinary. Let's say you have a wedding or some event and your whole budget kind of adjusts. So, in a sense, you should really build in a buffer and hopefully will account for that amount of money.
Yeah, this is a great tip. I started incorporating this into my own budget and basically just giving myself $100 miscellaneous. That things pop up, I don't know, a birthday comes around that I wasn't expecting or that I just wanted to get a gift last minute and I forgot or I didn't plan accordingly and it doesn't really go into grocery or pet or anything like that. So just throw it in the miscellaneous.
Yeah, those
And
birthdays do sneak up on you.
they come around once a year and you're just like, I'll push it till then. And then it's there, you're like, uh-oh. So yeah, that's definitely one that I started incorporating that has drastically reduced my stress in that category. Because otherwise I just throw it in a miscellaneous category that wasn't there. But then another great tip is people like to ignore their past spending and just, oh, I made the budget once. Let's just keep running with it. Just keep running with it. But things change.
Yeah.
You initially make your budget. You're like, oh, I think I'm going to spend 300 on groceries. Not too bad. Then you end up spending 600 on groceries consistently. And you're like, okay, I need to update this. And it's not if it happens once or twice you should double check and update things. If it's happening consistently, you plan to go out and only spend 200 bucks a month. You end up spending 500 bucks a month. If you just kept what you were doing, you would always be in the hole in that category, $300 a month. Whatever the category and how much you spend over, you would always be in the hole, which we don't want to do that. So if you ignore that past spending, you can get yourself into some bad situations.
Yeah, you want to be grounded in reality. We all want to be like, oh, in my ideal situation, I'm only spending $100 in groceries. That's just not the reality.
Yeah.
Groceries are more expensive than that. So you got to look at some past expenses and really get an idea of what your spending truly is. And running into our final tip is really just the way in which you're budgeting. Not everyone's brain works the same way. The way Ryan budgets is slightly different than the way I budget, even if we have, analytical brains in the same sense.
Yeah.
The categories that we each use and the way in which we go about it is different. Some people are very different. Some people need the freedom and flexibility. Some people want an Excel sheet and go through each nitty gritty thing. They make their own categories for this and that. Some people like the automation and they go into like a budgeting app or something, which we'll come out with a video very soon about some of the best budgeting apps on the market and what works best for what type of personality and everything. Because it's really a case-by-case basis. So don't be like, oh, my friend budgets this way, and you try that, you're like, oh, this is just a drag. I absolutely hate this. Maybe just try and switch it up. Find what works best for you.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is such a super slept on tip because a lot of people do just see a budgeting app or you see an advertisement or their friend does it this way, their parents do it that way, whatever it is, or they don't budget at all. And then you're looking at it like, okay, this is the way. This is the only way, but I hate it.
Yeah.
And you know how successful you're going to be doing it for the next 100 years if you hate it, especially weekly. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to stick to it. So find the way that works for you, and that's the best way you're going to stick to it. No matter what it is, no matter what everybody else does, do what's best for you and works for you. It actually works. But let us know in the comments your way. Let us know what new tips you've tried and that have worked really well for you. We'd love to know in the comments for ourselves, for everyone else that watches this video, as a good tip and trick to make them better at budgeting. But as always, please subscribe to the channel. Please share with your best friend. Stay tuned for that video we mentioned because it's going to be awesome on the budgeting apps. Really cool detailed review. And stay tuned for all videos coming soon.
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting. You'll spend it and be broke again.